Welcome to LedgerCast. My name is Brian Krogsgaard here. Josh Olszewicz, like always, and he's laughing at me. I don't know why.
No, I wasn't sure you were gonna get the name right. I thought it was gonna be a botch job,
On my own name?
Yeah, and what the show was. I mean, you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on, I don't
Yeah.
blame you. I'm just we got there though.
Yeah. Flawless.
Flawless, yeah. Flawless. I've heard you say it so many times that I was like, uh-oh, what is he gonna say?
Uh-oh. These charts are not flawless. These charts are sad.
These charts are a big uh-oh. Let me tell you what. But I've been preoccupied with drive chain drama, so
drive chain
drama. We'll talk about it later on in the show, but I've been so preoccupied with that over the past couple of days. Like, I haven't really cared about price. That's the good thing about a governance debate. Like, you can get down to like the core and the fundamentals of why any of us are here in the first place. And I don't know, it's interesting. But we'll start off with price and macro, I guess.
Drive chain.
Yeah, I mean, the altcoin people are going to be like, whatever, who cares? We can already do this on our chain. No one, doesn't matter, guys. Like, you basically, the altcoin people are going to say, you're arguing over something that we've had for years. Like, who cares? We don't care. We already have what we can do elsewhere. Anyway.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about price stuff first, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm fired up, baby.
You have 4 charts up, so I'm going to just, put Bitcoin on here.
Yeah, sure.
A couple things that I noticed right away, Josh, after we had the SEC get the smackdown, losing a GBTC ruling.
Which is good.
Market.
Look, we didn't want to root for Ripple, but you had to. At the end of the day, you had to root for GBTC, even though Barry is Barry and Grayscale is Grayscale, and the product is flawed and the fees are insane, and it's a hostage situation. But anyway, yes, we won. Go ahead.
The market whisperers, like the Bloomberg type of people that follow ETFs, changed their likelihood of a spot ETF to 75% for 2023, 95% for 2024. And there was a chance that they thought that they might just approve them right out of the gate, because it was enough of a smackdown from this circuit court, I think, whatever, that it was a bad loss, bad beat.
Well, if you're a bully and you get punched in the face, I don't think you just turn around and forgive whatever's going on or change your mind, and
but nevertheless, it looks like a spot Bitcoin ETF is on the way.
Yeah.
Realistically, probably means also an ETH one sometime in the year or two to follow.
Here we go. It starts already. The alt people.
And
let me tell you why this is good news for something that isn't Bitcoin. Let me tell you.
And the market liked it. The market liked it for a day.
Why do we care about ETFs?
I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
The market liked it for a day and then retraced it fully. If you look at the weekly chart, a couple things to note: 200 week, which it pierced right into, now getting rejected off of.
Well, partially it was rejected because all of the pending ETF applications got delayed. Which I don't know if you said that, but
not denied. They got only delayed. But also the 200-day got denied.
The 20 week, the 200 week,
the 20
50 day,
the all the moving averages,
death cross, radiation, devastation. It's over. It's September. This is September. Embrace September.
That's what moving average analysis would tell you. Moving average analysis would tell you, and I'm not belittling moving average analysis because I follow them. I use them. And I'm looking at this and it's telling me to sell. And I'm like, wait, but when ETF?
I don't know if it's telling you to sell so much as it's telling you things are not strong. We are weak. We have no upwards momentum. I wouldn't say sell per se. Right. I would just say
saying the trend is not your friend.
I would not expect
this is the end.
I would not expect prices to go up anytime super soon. That's what I think it's telling me anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to point that out.
Look, it's a pre-halving year. It's September. We don't have any good news. Regulations haven't really changed too much. Rates in the macro picture, I don't think looks good. We'll get to that, but we don't have any tailwinds, right? We just have continuous headwinds. We had like a gust of a tailwind when when Gensler got smacked down by the courts, but they still have 45 days. It's just down to like 43 or whatever now, where they could try to appeal this or do whatever they want. This isn't an automatic GBTC conversion. They could deny ETFs for a million reasons. They could just make up another one. Worst case scenario is they pull all of the futures ETFs, which is an option if the judge's rationale was, which is I think we all agree is correct, that you can't just arbitrarily deny an ETF based on the same criteria that another ETF is approved, the futures ETFs. So theoretically, the SEC could turn around and just revoke all of the futures ETFs. I don't think they're going to do that, but anyway, I think it was rightly celebrated as a great result for crypto, for Bitcoin. But it's the battle, not the war. It's not the whole kit and caboodle.
It makes the chart look bad.
It does not make price go up. Sure. Yes.
We also have a really nice chart response if you're bullish the dollar.
That's what I had my 4 charts up for in the beginning.
Well, I'm just doing them one at a time.
Okay,
zoom in on them, and I'll let your charts be visible.
Okay, go ahead. Dollar.
Dollar performing well. Daily and weekly both look quite good to me.
It looks exactly like 2021, which is extremely scary.
Yeah.
The beginning of 2021, when we were talking about for weeks that there was going to be this inverted head and shoulders technical breakout, and then we raised rates by 500 basis points, right? I don't think we're going to raise rates another 500 basis points, but the technicals for the dollar look phenomenal here.
And what's amazing is that the stock market also looks good. The stock market is just hovering here below all-time highs, bouncing off short-term moving averages, strong weeks, maybe a little top-heavy, but top-heavy as in from a breadth perspective. The biggest companies are performing the best. But yeah, crypto is just not participating in the fun.
Ike says that news doesn't matter. I'd agree with somewhat, but if the news is related to flows and we don't have inflows and no one wants to touch this thing, it's basically toxic radiation without regulation and regulatory clarity. Those are where the flows are coming from. Then that's a problem. So until we have actual flows, we're just completely drifting based on inverse correlations to the DXY effectively.
Yeah. There's just a lot of other interesting things, like the Dixie looks good. Stocks look good. VIX is getting crushed. Bitcoin looks like crap.
Well, something's got to give here because I don't think we can be bullish everything for an extended period of time. This is my DXY chart. I don't know why my Mac is lagging, but it's above the daily cloud. Continues to hold above the daily cloud.
If this were Bitcoin after a long downtrend, we would be excited.
Right. If this were any other chart, as a true technical objective analyst should treat this like this is phenomenal. Max Payne probably is dollar to like 111 plus, right? I can't imagine anything
the only
worse.
thing this is telling us is enjoy our trips to third world countries for a while, which are going to be the only places we can afford to live.
Yeah, it's not great. So here's what I don't understand: the picture currently. You've got a strong dollar. You've got oil making multi-week
$85.
This is a huge move for oil. Sunday coming into Monday, I was saying, look, there's a head and shoulders here. The invalidation criteria is 82. We blew past 82. We have a bullish TK recross on the 12-hour. And on oil, you've got this multi-month like Adam and Eve fractal, right? So I don't understand if energy is bullish, and that means likely inflation continues to increase. Why is that good for S&P and the Qs? That's what doesn't make sense to me. Because if you look at the S&P and NASDAQ right now, they also look like they have a canceled Head and Shoulders. I don't know why this isn't responding, but I blame Steve Jobs directly.
I do that post-mortem.
I don't care. Anyway, I think something's got to give here. The oil Head and Shoulders very clearly is invalidated. The S&P and the NASDAQ Head and Shoulder patterns still may be intact. But I agree, everything looks great. That isn't crypto, for sure.
Unless you're in crypto, you're feeling good, feeling right, feeling correct in whatever your take is. Unless you're short rates.
Right. So what this is signaling to me is that rates should go up if inflation stays high. But then if we look at the jobs market, which if you want to look up, bring up those charts, job openings came down this week. Unemployment ticked up slightly this week. That would be evidence for the Fed to pause here. This is from Trueflation. Trueflation, by the way, hovering just below 3%. The Fed now inflation casting is like at 3.8, which is a massive, I'd argue, a massive increase from the previous month. So there's a very muddy picture what is going to happen here, but I can't imagine the Fed is going to just lay down if inflation's holding at 3% still. What do you think?
I don't think inflation's really strong as the numbers indicate. Lagging.
Well,
the real market is a little more difficult than the charts would indicate.
So Trueflation's at 267. There's this, this housing argument in the inflation data. PCE, which is a different type of measurement, is still elevated. We're still not to the 2% target. Unemployment's still quite low. Do I think they're going to keep raising? Probably not. Should they? I don't know. But if inflation, here's the weird thing, right? If inflation goes to 3+ and unemployment is still sub 4, then what do they do? I don't know. I think they're in a rock and a hard place because everyone seems to think that they're over tightening and that we're going to completely explode the economy.
I think that's probably true. If they keep going, I think it's at a place where they should at least wait and see. I think the rate of change has been too severe. Well, they should have started earlier.
Clearly, they're just right. Exactly. They're trying to make up for their misgivings months and months ago.
Too many people are employed. They need to stop having such a positive work environment.
I mean, that's the end conclusion, right? Like, we need people to get laid off. We need wages to come down. There's this anti-wage, anti-worker sentiment that I just do not understand. I don't get it. I don't like, how do you expect people to live? Like, yes, inflation is high. Wages have to come up. Look at all the people that are on strike right now. They just can't live. I don't know what to tell people. Like, what? We're just supposed to tell hundreds of thousands of people that, you know what, tough luck? I just don't get it.
This chart says that the recession can take some time.
Yeah, so David Rosenberg's been bearish for months. He was on a podcast with Blockworks yesterday. He was fired up, let me tell you. A
fired up bear.
You're either in the camp that prices are wrong, we've been bearish, I don't care, or you're in the camp that I'm gonna trade what's in front of me and, be honest, right? Like fundamentally, as a macro person, you might have been bearish for a year and a half, but that's not exactly how it played out, right? So you can't really disagree with what he's saying, but at the same time, he's completely wrong with everything regarding prices and the market, right?
That's a common result for bears.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I was right. I just had the wrong timing. Like, congratulations.
Well, all of his rationale and justifications are completely correct. It's just the reality is we weren't bearish. Sorry. Like, so he might be right eventually.
Well, is it bullish or bearish that retail flows are increasing? This would be insinuating that the dumb money is back, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that's bullish.
Can they buy our bags?
Well, I also think this is a product of people looking for lottery tickets, basically. Like people are looking for a way to make it through the cost of living, and they think that, hey, this is a way out, right? A way out would be to bet and gamble on the market. Look how
Yeah.
good it's done this year.
Skullcap in chat says people are overspending still, and I think that's probably true. I think people are still maybe having similar incomes to what they had before, but they're not having this like discretionary gain of wealth through capital gains, and their cost of life is increasing, and I think that could create a squeeze on your typical person. Not to mention, Josh, since we've recorded, student loans are coming back, and that's, I don't know, $1 trillion, some crazy number. Impact delinquencies on some of the like shorter term debt. I think automotive and credit card or something along one of those types of debts. Delinquencies are up. I think a lot of people probably got used to not paying off their student loans for almost 3 years, and getting hit with them now is going to have an impact.
Yeah. So consumer savings down almost completely. If you separate that out by like cohort and income, obviously the people at the bottom of that ladder are completely hosed. And yes, student loan interest starts today. Student loan payments are due by the end of this month, or they go into delinquency. So yeah, we're going to see crazy headlines in a month about the number of student loans in delinquency, because yes, credit cards delinquencies are up, car loan delinquencies are up, consumer personal loan delinquencies are up. The question is it enough? Is that enough? Certainly not
Listen,
enough.
Josh, I'm sure so many people put their student loan payments that they would have made into savings so that they can pay them off very quickly now, right? Right?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But did they ever have that money to begin with? Like, my argument is, look, most of these people were never going to pay back their loan. We can say that they've been delinquent for years. Like the loan, the money's never coming back. The money's gone. They never had the money, right? They never got a job to support the loan payment, or they didn't get wages to support the loan payment. It's not like, oh, these people, they're spending way too much. They're overspending. They're so evil. They should be paying back their loan. Okay, but I don't think
Also,
that's
for a lot of
what's
these
going on.
professional degrees, I mean, it can take 15, 20 years to pay them back, even when you do. It's a long process with most of the payment plans that exist out there and structures for repayment.
Yeah.
And also, I think because they were paused and then there was all this talk of forgiveness, I think people's like appetite to be delinquent is probably significantly increased. Like, what do you say? What are you going to do to me? Like, if I don't pay it? It's like, well, we're going to destroy your credit. But they probably do it anyway. They don't have the money, or they think there'll be a magic solution later. Maybe
Right.
there will be.
I mean,
I don't know.
I lean left, and this is very much a political thing. So my argument isn't like these people are so evil. They're welfare queens. They're eating bonbons on the couch. They don't have 3 jobs to support their student loan payment. Like, I'm on the other side of the equation where clearly they fucked up in some degree if they can't pay back their loan. Whether that be just choosing the wrong major. Why are we giving 18-year-olds, all this debt anyway? The whole system is broken. So there's just no good that can come of this. But My entire argument is based around, look, this money was never there. The money was never going to come in. We should have never given these people loans. But we
Did you
do.
know that the maximum deduction for student loan interest is only $2,500 a year?
Yeah.
That
And
should be 100% in my opinion.
that's based on income as well. So if you're over
Yeah.
a certain income threshold, you do not get that deduction.
I think there's so much creative stuff that they could do to like not forgive student loans, but to make them make it hurt a little less from like an interest perspective. And
Well, they have income-based repayment, so you can get your payment down significantly based on it's like 10% of your income or something. But that doesn't mean the interest still accrues, and the
right,
interest right now is 6%.
and the loans then just never go away. It's like a lifetime of student loan repayment. When
Right.
you
So
use
after
income-based
20
repayment.
years, they get what's the term? They go they end after 20 years, but that's just federal. Private loans, that's the whole nother story.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the JOLTS Fed data chart? So I guess the question for people is, regardless of what your feelings or political leanings or any of that is, like based on the data, not what you think is going to happen, what we're actually seeing. And yes, I know all these are continually adjusted down and fake and dumb, and I get it. Okay, but the question is this enough of a turn for the Fed to not only say we're not going to continue hiking, but we're going to hold here? This is probably it. The market certainly thinks the Fed is done here. Now, post Jackson Hole, they thought we were going to get another hike, but then the jobs number came in soft, and now the market's suggesting we're not going to keep hiking. But if you look at DXY, now DXY says, hey, we're probably going up, right? Now, you could also argue that DXY is strengthening because all the emerging markets are basically on a race to the bottom. But I don't know. I think we are going to see inflation creep up again, and the Fed's going to have to decide what's more important here, unemployment or inflation. And I don't know.
I tend to think the Fed is done for a little while.
I think everybody hopes so.
I think the cracks in the economy are already there. I think this is a bunch of lagging data, and things are a little harder than presented by some of the information that's out there. Did you see the average car loan interest rate is now 9.5%?
Yeah, everything is so high that it's halted
Activity.
the
Yeah.
markets, period. Like housing, obviously.
Well, why would you move if you have like a 3% interest rate?
Well, you're
You're
not.
gonna I know, but you would double your mortgage if you bought the same house with the 7.5% rate. You're basically doubling your mortgage.
Right. Again, I think this is somewhat of a political thing where it's like people are so focused on people moving. I'm focused on the people who don't have a house. Like who cares about whether you can move? At least you have a mortgage at 3%, right? Or 2%, whatever it is. Whereas on the other side of the spectrum, if mortgages are at 7 and prices don't come down, housing affordability is for most people just completely unobtainable.
Bradley brings up a good point about the 9.5% rates too. Is it's 9.5% on all-time high car prices.
Right. It's the same thing with housing, right? Same thing.
Yeah, yeah. The housing prices are not really coming down that much.
No.
I think that could be one of the interesting things if rates get nuked and housing prices get nuked, because they'd be like falling together some capacity. I don't know which one goes first. The people that are buying right now with 7.5% at high prices, like,
well, yeah, that's the other thing. They'd be underwater, right?
Yeah, massively. And they could refinance. They would have to refinance, but they would be still holding on to a very expensive asset at a bare minimum.
Yeah, I think we can agree that it's not a great picture.
Sean says, not a time to be a real estate agent. The transaction velocities down enormously.
Here's the thing, though. If you've got cash, if you're wealthier, right? You're getting sick yield. What do you care, right? Let the economy explode.
Yeah, well, that's what most of the transactions is cash based.
Yeah, money markets all-time high. Yield all-time high. Not all-time high, but we'll call it multi-decade highs. Yeah, 3-month yield, 2-year yield. It's all good right now, right? And yeah, the whole China situation, this is just the US. Everywhere else is just crumbling even quicker. China can't really stimulate because they don't want to weaken their currency more. So they're even more boned than we are over here, certainly. They've got real estate exploding. They've got unemployment in the youth sector, out of control. Yeah,
But that's all deflationary for China.
Yes, but the economy is still in trouble. Like, what are they
Right.
going to do? They can't. If they stimulate, they weaken their currency even more. I don't know. I don't know how everybody's going to get out of this. Yeah, 30-year yields.
I mean,
They have to go higher, right?
based on the chart.
Another chart I didn't pull, but it's a favorite of the doomers. The favorite doomer chart is who's buying the government bonds if China's selling, if Saudis are selling. Who's going to buy them? That's the favorite of the doomer chart.
Yeah. Well, the chart says higher for longer.
Yeah, I think the market's finally starting to take that seriously. And just the moment when they take it seriously, we're going to have some massive macro explosion. Right. Everything's going to just implode at once.
You know what real estate people are saying with all the transactions down and whatnot? They're saying survive till 25, which I always love when people put a target on their hopium. It's like, that's the one thing I basically expect to not happen. Whatever your target is for when you think things will be better, it'll take longer. It just wouldn't surprise me if all this takes longer to play out. Even if we don't go like super doomer, right? Just keep that standstill of activity for longer, depress volatility. That would create pain as well.
Oh, for sure. We're still in, the rack, the medieval torture device.
Yeah.
Where they'd hold you, they'd turn the screws or whatever, right? We're still in the rack. We just haven't kept turning the screws. Like, we're still in the torture device.
And that's what we should expect. 12 says, isn't that exactly what crypto people do every 4 years, though? And the answer is yes. And what's hilarious is that it's worked so well with the dominance of halvings, that inherent pressure of Bitcoin has had a big impact on market cycles. And I have basically the same feeling. Like, what if not this time? What if? And you need a lot of people, honestly, to think that in order to do it anyway. Like, they need to think that's not happening. It's not going to work this time. The halving is not going to work. The cyclical nature of crypto is not going to work in order for it to work. What I worry about is a lot of people are basically saying, "Oh, we'll be fine. 4-year cycle, no problem."
Well, we haven't seen the pain come back yet. I think everybody, like, it's been a good year if you've been holding Bitcoin or GBTC, ETH to a lesser degree, but
It's been an okay year.
80%? How's that not a good year? Like, we've gone from 80 to 50 year to date. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Back
54%.
to somebody in the comments, Utoyan is saying, shouldn't Biden, or not shouldn't, but won't Biden try to do everything to prevent a recession? I mean, you're going to see the craziest conspiracy theories. I'm already seeing it, by the way. With this new coronavirus thing, we're going to lock down again. We're going to stimulate. We're going to cancel the election. We're going to do all this stuff. 2024 is going to be absolutely wild.
I don't even know what's going on. I mean, people are pressing pause on Mitch McConnell's brain halfway through speeches.
Oh, there's that too.
Like, they're all so old. Just get them out of there.
Yeah, I agree.
And Biden included, for what it's worth.
Like, 100%. Why are we even thinking about voting for somebody who's 80? Like,
he should have gone into his presidency as like, I'm going to create stability after a psychopath, and I'm going to run for one term, and like opened it up for other people. Trump didn't do that either. Obviously, he's running from the sidelines, not even gracing the stage.
There was
But
one point, by the way, early in the primary season where Biden said that he was only going to do one term. That obviously changed. So
yeah, they're gonna, weekend at Bernie's all these guys for the next 4 years. I mean, that lady like yelling into McConnell's ear, like, "Did you hear that? They asked about re-election."
yeah, it's just sad.
It's so sad. I don't even want to laugh at it, but it's kind of funny. But it's terribly sad.
I don't know why we put up with that, but
We shouldn't.
I agree.
Term limits.
I agree.
There can't be
100%.
anything more bipartisan than term limits.
You'd think, but here we are. It's hard to tell somebody that there's a ceiling on their power, So it's hard for them to vote for that.
Bias Frog asked, "What is bullish about this chart?" And my answer would be nothing. This is not a bullish chart.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a glass half full person, but up 80% a year, I'll take it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying it means new lows now, but it doesn't look like all-time highs imminent either. Like relative to the S&P or other things, like crypto just doesn't look good. I am bullish on the fundamentals.
Yeah, I'd agree. Look, we don't have flows. We have banking problems. We have like very basic fundamental, how do we pay for this thing situation. And the biggest proponents are retail, and they're being squeezed by inflation and wages. So
yeah, and this can turn. It can turn. I'm fundamentally bullish on it being able to turn.
ETH almost below 16 here, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. It is breaking down from that diagonal support, like retested
in real time. I'm on a monthly chart. Same thing on the weekly. Weekly 200. Boink. Yeah. We need to fix this. It's Friday. Probably won't. Doesn't look good, man. Still does kind of have the 2015 Bitcoin fractal, though.
I don't know. That just looks like death to me.
You think?
Look at that. Look, that's a perfect personification of this entire conversation. DXY plus everything else red.
Yeah.
that's just it.
I'd rather own this than owning that is just having dollars.
That bounce is insane. The bounce on oil is insane this week. It's just it's not good news. If we're bullish crypto, it's just not.
Ooh, I'm being asked about lumber. I don't know what lumber's doing. I can't remember where that is on my watch lists. But
so the next Fed meeting isn't until the end of the month, the 20th. We've got a CPI print on the 13th, which we very well know is going to come in hot. It probably around 3.8%. It's going to be tough. I don't know.
We got asked a question earlier. We'll look at two of these markets. All right, let's look at lumber futures. They don't look so good. I don't know what product I'm looking at, so sorry. That doesn't look that good. And we also got asked about uranium, the uranium market. I'm going to go to...
There's Quad U, I think, is what people look at a lot. I don't know what the actual uranium ETF is.
This is like the spot physical uranium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it looks awesome.
Looks good. Looks like the 30-year, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Looks like a breakout.
Looks like Costco. Pull up that chart. You know what else hit? You know what hit all-time highs this week? Visa, MasterCard, and Walmart.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that. I mean, look at that consolidation. It's like picture perfect triangle.
I don't know anything that looks good here in crypto, honestly.
Bias Frog brought up another Josh chart, which is seasonality.
Oh, yeah. It's September, right? I don't think people should be surprised. Click on the right average monthly for Bitcoin and ETH.
Bad month.
Historically, September is the worst month. So, I wouldn't expect any massive surprises here.
Hodl till Halloween.
That's the reason why Q4 historically has been so good. Part of it is September's always been terrible. And that's what you want to see, right? If you want to have a shot at a decent Q4, let Q3 just explode completely.
So is September terrible because people come back from their summer vacations and press the sell button?
I don't know. A lot of people have asked me that. I don't know why. Even in the legacy markets, if you look at the other chart, if you click the left arrow, yeah, NASDAQ and S&P also, September is the worst month historically. Yeah, that's not just a decade. That's like 100 years almost on the S&P.
That's crazy.
I don't know why that is. At some point, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? People are expecting September to be bad, so they get out of the market, they de-risk. I don't know. I don't know why that is, though.
Me neither. It's a great month weather-wise.
And plus, look, you could get 3-month yields at what, 5%? Which,
yeah, when you're just getting taught, handed 5% on these strong dollars. Hard to deny that, Josh. It's hard to deny 5% on strong dollars.
I agree, and that's another headwind, right? Because there's more reasons not to be in crypto. I think that's all we had on price stuff.
Well, one more that I was going to show is that despite rates doing what they're doing, gold has not gone up, but it has not gone down either. It's hovering here. Should rates decrease, do you expect gold to make its move?
I have no idea. I don't know enough about gold historically, what it does in recessionary conditions.
Also, it could be like another year or two before you're right about it, but
yeah,
I still like this chart.
Is there a sadder person than a gold bug? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
An NFT top buyer.
Yeah, I don't know anything about gold, so I'm the wrong person to ask, but I agree the chart looks good. Silver, the same, by the way. Silver looks good.
Yeah, but it's oil that's actually breaking out. Oil punished a lot of people, though, over the beginning of the year or 2022.
I mean, oil, it's a cartel that controls the price, so you got to keep that in mind.
That makes it bullish, right?
Well, if it gets too high, supply gets released. If it gets too low, they tighten supply. So
range bound forever.
It's part of it.
The 2-year still looks like it could come down. Like it looks relatively weak, but the 10 and the 30-year both look like they want to go up some more. I hate that we have to look at this. Why can't we just enjoy our coins?
I agree. Unfortunately, we've gotten big enough at this point where we can't just ignore the macro stuff. ETH BTC makes another lower high. How about that?
Does it, though?
You hate to see it.
I mean,
what do you mean? It's below 0.07. That's a lower high.
I can't even see the last 2 months of pricing here. Like they're all squeezed in this little range. You're calling this the lower high, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't call it's still within the range. Do I have any pictures on this? Oop, I was wrong. I wasn't wrong.
Quick delete that.
I was just early.
Move it down.
Just push my squiggles to the right. Yeah. Surely because of all this stuff, we'll just have alt season, right?
Yeah, no, now is not the time for alt season. I don't even think buying alts here is none of them. So every Wednesday I look at alts on my YouTube channel. Shout out YouTube channel.
Carpe Noctem on YouTube.
And my conclusion over the past 4 weeks basically has been nothing looks bad enough to buy. So everything looks terrible, but nothing looks bad enough to buy. I
Updated
don't think.
updated price prediction. There.
ETH on the USD chart, I have it up. Breaking that diag is real bad. Especially you consolidate for almost 2 years. Well, let's say a year. Okay, I'll be generous. Less than generous. A year of consolidation, no volume, doesn't break out. Just you hate to see it. At the end of the day, the entire market is based around the Bitcoin halving.
What kind of diagonal have you drawn there?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I reject the premise.
Oh God.
I'm going to show you a diagonal.
I do.
It's not broken.
Here's a diagonal. There's another one. How much
Yeah, it's
further
not
do you want to
broken.
go down?
Look at this. I'll just drew you one.
Just
not
making
broken.
up numbers.
The yellow thing. Not broken. I'm going
to
make
the extreme pico wick.
I'm
I gotta
gonna
go
make
to
solid 4 pixels. Heavy support.
That's your line in the sand. We will not cross 1540 or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Look, if we make lower lows beyond the previous 2 weeks, I mean, that's the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah.
And everybody's asking about Solana. I won't say everybody. I'll say 3 people have asked about Solana.
Just Anatoly in your DMs is asking about Solana. Look, I just made the yellow box bigger.
Sure. Look, until it's above 2000, it's an ignore. I've said that for months. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. You can give me all the fundamental reasons why ETH is bullish, but sorry, you don't see it on the chart. And Solana, times 1,000 to that logic. Solana's got massive overhead supply from FTX to be sold still, so I wouldn't get excited until that Solana pile gets sold off.
I'll give you $3.
Yeah, sure.
Per Solana. Maybe 4. I think Solana's actually got a lot of good community stuff going on. I'm interested at Solana at prices I previously was not interested, which I would say is like somewhere close to the previous lows, sub 10, sub 12, 10, 12. If it got dumped really hard, I'd be interested to buy it. I don't know if I could actually wait for sub $5 Solana before I got interested.
Sub 10 before I start to think about it seriously for me. Someone's asking how much Solana does FTX hold. As of a few months ago, they held 685 million notional. I don't know how many tokens.
Coins?
No, that's the USD.
Dollars.
Yeah. Which, look, hey, that's not that much, right? But it ain't zero.
They hold a lot.
So I don't know where we were in the price cycle for that. Was like, time stamped, but you can't say like you're worried about the Gox coins, for example, and ignore stuff like FTX, where we still don't know how they're going to distribute all that. Latest I heard was they were going to sell it, and Galaxy was going to be the ones to do that OTC. So
shoot, they're talking about trying to hedge out their exposure to some stuff, which I doubt very many of the debtors or whatever, the people they owe money to, would really like that. They're like, we don't want to guarantee like 10 cents on the dollar. At least let it go up, and maybe we have a chance of getting 50 or 60 or 70 cents on the dollar if their assets do well.
I just can't believe Gox still hasn't been resolved.
I don't understand what they're doing.
I don't know either. What's taking so long?
Also, this FTX bankruptcy group is they're charging like $1 million a day or something stupid.
Yep.
And they're just eating into all the funds. I don't understand how that's legal.
I agree. Same thing with Barry. Barry, his whole motive is keep that sucker closed as long as you can, bleed that sucker dry. Same rationale with GBTC. They don't want an ETF. They don't want competition. Keep that closed. Cryptopia.
It's almost like we have some bad actors in crypto.
It's just you go out, you say one thing, you try to make it look like you're doing the right thing, It's just not how it plays out. So we talk about drive chains real quick.
Yeah, because I still don't know what you mean.
All right. So in like 2013, 2014, 2015, I don't know. It's been a long time. Okay, this is part of the problem. It's been a long time. This we'll call him a Bitcoin thinker. He's kind of a dev. Paul Scorch. I
Scorch.
butcher his last name.
Tell me this guy's name's not Paul Scorch.
It's like STORCZ or something. SZTORCZ. Anyway, he had this idea of bringing altcoins to Bitcoin by creating drive chains, which would just be side chains with a bridge, basically. And again, altcoin people are like, what are you talking about? We've had this since 1985. What do we care? Yeah. So over the past, I don't know, week, 10 days, because the wheels have been put in motion on the development front through Luke Dash Jr., who got paid to do that, by the way, which is a whole nother can of worms, on whether or not we want this on the protocol. So there are tons of reasons for and against it. And if you think about the ordinal debate, it's very much like the ordinal debate where the hard money people want nothing to do with it. And the other altcoin people are like, well, here's what it boils down to for me is like, look, if you're going to drink, I want you to drink in my basement, right? Or whatever that saying is, right? If you're like an underage drinker or promoting safe drinking to underage individuals, right? That's a common thing people say is, if you're going to drink, I want you to do it in my house. That's basically what drive chains are. This idea that altcoins are going to exist no matter what we do. We've pushed people away off of the Bitcoin network because they can't do it on Bitcoin.
If you want to compute on Bitcoin layer 2.
Right. And the other part of it is the Bitcoin security model is broken. We will never have transaction fees enough to the point where we have security in the year 2160, whatever.
I'm on team drive chains.
Yeah, of course you are. We know that. I didn't even have to think about it. That's another part of the argument. Like, it's a soft fork. It's opt-in. If you don't want it, you don't have to touch it. Much like ordinals, right? I just don't like this attitude of we're going to enable all this stuff, and if shit happens, right? Like, who cares? If people want to lose money to scams, if miners want to rug people, who cares?
You're acting like there's nothing else a blockchain can do.
Right.
Versus, you could say, well, here's Bitcoin security as a service. One beautiful thing that Bitcoin has is security as a service. So
12 agents are right. Ordinals are not a soft fork, but I'm saying the debate is very similar.
Let it be put out there to be security for anything.
Well, here's the problem. We've got 10 different versions of this already that nobody gives a fuck about. Okay. Nobody uses this shit. Look at FriendTech. I sent you that link as well. FriendTech is a great example of what drive chains, the true vision in my mind for drive chains could be, right? They came and went. Nobody cares.
Well, FriendTech's it's not even on, it's on base. And
this is an example of something you could do on a drive chain, right?
Sure.
The whole promise is we're going to have all these drive chains and generate all these fees. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be this utopia. Look at ordinals too. I don't know if I sent you that link. People are still using ordinals, but the fees are zero. So now we've got all this blockchain baggage with no upside. So like, what are we doing? Now, drive chains,
Josh, you're just like preaching against any form of attempt, like decentralization attempt in consumer applications, which,
well, it wouldn't be
against me. You will not convince me.
It would be the opposite.
What?
The drive chain people, their whole thing is like, we're just gonna let this happen. Like, whatever happens after that is, we don't care. We're just gonna hand wave all the risks. We don't know about the unknown unknowns. Nobody can. Whatever. My thing is like, look, we have to plan for that. If we're not planning for problems, then we're making mistakes. If the risk is not worth the reward, Your argument is the reward is infinite possibilities, right?
Yeah, when you can compute on using the security of a blockchain and create decentralized applications, decentralized participation, custody, whatever else, you unlock the potential for privacy enhancing solutions of various kinds where you're transitioning the risk away from corporate and into code. And I think that is a good thing.
Okay. I have a whole presentation I put together. I haven't recorded the video yet, but I'm going to do that today when we're done with this.
I would
This
like
discussion.
to have more applications where I can have underlying security from ETH and Bitcoin blockchains than on corporate entities for stuff in my life. There's obviously a ton to work out. It's kind of wild, wild west. That's why we have all these scams and crazy things. But I think what you're saying is kind of like the equivalent of like, well, I don't like the Western Americas because there's cowboys out there and they'll steal your money and the bank is not secure. So we shouldn't explore the West. We should stay east of the Mississippi.
Boogeyman. No, I think the argument is, look, we know what happens. We know what happens. Ponzi's happen. Scams happen. Rugs happen. That's going to happen. Somebody in one of the Twitter spaces is like, okay, we're going to build a bridge, but on the other side of that bridge, we know there's a bomb. There's 100% guaranteed going to be a bomb there. His argument was we shouldn't build a bridge. Someone else like you was arguing, does that mean we just shouldn't ever build bridges, right?
I don't think I reject the premise of the question of that we know there's a bomb there.
We know that there's going to be a bomb. We 100%
I would
know.
say we're not going to build a road because there are people on that road who will mug you.
Okay.
There's always dangers to the road. People will die on highways. People will die exploring, but you also achieve so much because you enable that infrastructure.
Yeah, look, I understand the other side of the argument. The way it plays out is very different than this idealized innovation side.
I'm not idealizing it. I'm saying there's going to be some nastiness along the way. Always has been. Even Bitcoin, you can't say like Bitcoin got cloned 100,000 times.
Right.
So
we already
shouldn't have ever Bitcoined because we got Feathercoin, and that means we shouldn't have done that. People speculated on Feathercoin because Hal Finney got excited and created this thing. Presumably, I'm making that up, but Satoshi. So let's roll it back. Roll it back. Never do this whole Bitcoin thing because look at all these scams these people came up with.
We've had colored coins, we've had Omni, we've had Counterparty, we've had Rootstock, Liquid, Taro, BRC20. We've had all of it.
This is an irrational fear of progress.
We've made progress. We've tried innovation, and nobody's wanted it. It exists. It exists today. Look at Base. Why are people aping into Base? Because they think they can make money because there's Ponzi-nomics involved, right? That's it. You said it yourself an episode or two ago.
It's a short-term justification.
Right. And after that, nobody cares. It's a flash in the pan.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I care about layer 2s on ETH because I think that good layer 2s that adopt the security model of layer 1 offer the features that you get out of layer 1 security with better speed. And you might actually be able to put consumer apps on them without having to rely on all of the restrictions of what consumer apps historically force you to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's amazing that you're so bearish on all this because I think it's so beneficial for your bags.
Well, I'm bearish on the inevitability of some sort of regulatory attack. Let's build some
Who cares?
jihadi privacy coin with child porn that has gigameg blocks, right? Like that's gonna happen. And are we supposed to just say, okay,
You just want to send and receive. You don't even want to send and receive your Bitcoins. You just want to stick your Bitcoins on some words,
I
on
want to
some
stick it
paper.
in the ground.
Yeah. Put it in a safe. Never touch it. That's so boring.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not for me. It's not for a lot of people. So exactly 12 Asians talking about tornado cash. I mean, that just because the government does something doesn't mean it's correct, but we have to look at what's happening and like read the room. Okay. I don't know.
But there is both wrong and right that can occur on technological innovation. Like and there's that which the government accepts and that which the government does not accept. But
Oh, I agree. I'm saying we can't ignore
says
the
that the
risks.
innovation is bad.
We can't ignore the risks and
Of
just
course, there's
say
always risks.
let's do it. Fuck it. Who cares? Right.
I'm gonna put my gold in my mattress.
Wolf, again, this is another point people bring up. He's saying, why would you build anything on Bitcoin when we've got ETH, basically? And that's the point that Luke Jr. brought up, where the shitcoiners left. Like, they're long gone, right? So why are we trying to enable shitcoins on Bitcoin? Like, nobody cares, Again, we've done it over and over and over again. Nobody's cared. Tether just ended support for Omni the other day, okay? Tron has won that battle.
Tron has won that battle.
They
I
have.
don't
It's
think
just
Tron.
cheaper. The best way to send tethers on Tron, because you can do it for free, basically. And who cares if it's a centralized ecosystem? Not the people that use Tether.
I'm personally pretty bullish on high security layer ones and high transaction throughput on layer twos that build themselves using a foundation of the high security layer ones. I'm pretty
Sounds like
bearish on low security layer ones.
Sounds like you're Mr. Drive Chain. Yeah, so there's a bunch of pros and cons. I understand the pro argument. I do not understand this hand waving of the risk of enabling it. I don't get it.
All right.
Can we talk about BNB real quick?
Yeah.
Can you just pull up that chart, because I don't have it up?
Am I looking up the price on Binance, or do I need to look at a different?
Oh, Binance is fine.
Okay. And decoupled yet? Ooh. Doesn't look good, but it's holding up so far.
Yeah, I mean, 210, 212. If it makes lows, we'll see what happens. There's some argument that Binance has to explode before it can go up. CZ needs to be taken into custody by the US. I don't know what this conspiracy theory stuff is, but
if you could just stop tweeting 4, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for that chart for sure. Just based on a technical level.
This looks like your old giraffes.
It looks like it's going down. That's what it looks like.
It does.
Are they selling BTC to support the BNB price?
All right, this is a monthly chart. This price really only just went up in February 2021. That was all of the markup. Just retrace that. Just get rid of this candle right here. Act like it doesn't exist.
I wouldn't be long BNB. I wouldn't have any coins on Binance. I wouldn't have any coins on Binance US. I wouldn't have anything in Binance Smart Chain.
We agree on something, Josh.
I just don't know what else to tell people.
I agree with all of that.
If you lose any money to Binance and you're still there,
it's your fault.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm just not sympathetic. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although I would also personally guess that their financial situation is not of the same highly fraudulent sort that FTX's is, but I think their regulatory situation is very bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. This isn't an FTX. It's different.
It's a Binance.
It's a 4.
It's a 4. Yeah. All right. Well, let's leave
Drive chains forever. Shitcoins forever. Here's the innovation.
It is spoken. Thanks for joining us, y'all. We appreciate you listening to us argue. Like, subscribe, follow Josh at Carpe Noctem on YouTube and Twitter. Catch you later.
Monuments crumble in the blink of an eye. The easy river has just run dry. in a house of cards. I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe. Oh, the chains, oh, the chains, oh, the chains, come release me from the chains.